little bit of concern in the stadium when this happened. I think most of that's been quenched just a little bit, but I even saw Jordan tweeting out once this happened. But when Tommy was a little bit shaken up, when he was a little bit limping, what was your concern level at that moment?
10 out of 10. Like I and nothing against the backups. But Tommy is the perfect quarterback for a Gus Malzahn offense. And I think we've seen that all 3 weeks of the season so far.
Yeah.
Like even Alabama, that, even on game day, I don't know if you watched or not, Nick Saban made a comment that, when Nick Saban said, when Gus Malzahn has a quarterback who fits his offense perfectly, it's extremely difficult to prepare for that game. And that's probably the greatest defensive mind outside of Mickey Andrews in college football history. So, if Nick Saban is saying that, and he said that before the game, yeah, we need Tommy to stay healthy. Obviously, Kent State was not going to be a loss regardless. We were going to win that game anyways. But yeah, I need a healthy Tommy Friday night in Charlottesville if we want to win this game.
I'll get right back to the video, but first I do want to give some love to our friends over at T1RX. I'm a big believer in the supplements that are formulated for your specific health needs, whether it's my multivitamin, the Daily War Shield, whether it's the Mag Change, which has magnesium, helps you sleep so much better at night, or the Test Fire, or really anything you're looking for. I'm on the creatine, which is the big bottle in the middle right there. These sit behind me at all times, so I remember to take them when I'm out here making videos every day. Make sure that you are checking out T1RX. You can use our code DFNS to save money on your journey to feeling good again with the micronutrients that you need. T1RX will get you covered. They've even got kids multivitamins in there if you want to get something for your kids. I know back to school always brings all the sickness and everything. Go check them out. Appreciate T1RX for their support. Yeah, I thought it was a little strange the way they were letting him run as much as they did. Now, you don't want to limit him so much and not let him make plays because that's part of his game. But I would have been fine if he didn't have any rushing attempts on Saturday. And obviously he scored, he wants to make plays, and that's part of his game, and that's fine, especially when he knows he gets into the end zone. The play of him, it might have been the thumbnail, but the play of him jumping into the end zone,
yes,
yeah, it was pretty spectacular, and they're fun to watch, and so I get it. But some concern. I thought the fact that he jogged back out, it seemed like a minor ankle thing.
In full pads,
yeah, he jogged back out. He jogged back to the sideline. I feel pretty good. Now, I'll say this. Having him limited at all, like having him at like 95, I mean, if you just lose a little bit of that explosiveness, that's not a great thing. Now, I will say this. This isn't a full UVA preview by any means. Their defense is pretty terrible. And so my concern for this game is much less about what the offense will be able to do, because I think the offense will do, I don't want to say whatever they want, but I think the offense will have success. It wouldn't surprise me if they got up into the high 20s or low 30s. The defense is kind of where more of my concern is. But Florida State could get good news there as well. I don't know that this definitely happens, but man, if you could get like a Kevin Wynn back for this game, now if he's back for Miami, that's, a different story. There are other guys that would be kind of nice to have back by this. I've heard that, it would not surprise me if Randy Pittman was back by this game or Miami, right? This is a short week, so you'll see how much work you can get in, see what flying looks like once they do that. He did have a minor procedure done. And then I think Squirrel White was held out pretty intentionally because you didn't need him. It would surprise me if Squirrel White wasn't back by this week, but we'll kind of see how that one goes too. But you could get a few guys back in this game or in these next two games that would help you an absolute ton. Kevin Wynn's probably the one that I'm least confident on, but shoot, you get a couple of weapons back. I think this is billed to be kind of a shootout against UVA, and I'd love if our defense didn't let that happen. But my concern level for Tommy, fairly small, but it is something that you got to be leery of, and something that you can't ignore at all.
No, you definitely can't ignore it. But I do think, the fact that he was jogging out on his own weight in pads, I think if this was a close ball game against, it's Kent State. What do you do? I think if this game was against Virginia and it was a tie game, I think Tommy would have been back out on the field. We'll wait and hear what Mike says. And he's, as every coach is very vague when talking about injuries. But I fully expect Tommy to play Friday night, and I think he'll be close to 100%. It looked like, just a big guy fell on him. And initially I'm like, oh my gosh, please tell me that was not an ACL or something. And then just seeing him jogging out back on the field, again, in full pads. If he was walking out in like street clothes, I would have been like, oh crap, we might be in trouble. But I think Tommy will be ready to go Friday night. So I'm not overly concerned, but there is some concern.
I'll get right back to the video, but first, let me remind you about our friends over at Sleeper. Using our code DFNS, you can get a 100% match up to $100 on the Sleeper app. Now, terms and conditions apply, so check their terms of use, but you can literally win up to 1,000 times your money by picking more or less on your favorite picks in any game, in any sport, on the Sleeper app. We play the game live every Wednesday night, so we'll pick it for the Virginia-Florida State game, but there's NFL, there's soccer, there's NBA coming back up, there's NHL coming back up, there's baseball, whatever you're looking for, the Sleeper app has you covered. Let's make money together this year and use the Sleeper app to do so. I don't know if they showed this on the broadcast or not because I haven't gone back and watched it, but there was a moment where they were playing, what's the name? Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
I probably butchered the way you're supposed to say that, but
Soldier Boy.
Yeah, there you go. And he was on the sideline, like kind of dancing to it and stuff. And so, and they showed that up on the jumbotrons. The kids where we were watching the game were all doing it too and dancing around and stuff. So it was pretty cool and like kind of a fun moment, like towards the end of the game. But I thought that was good to see too, because obviously if he's really messed up, I think Mike would have said, "Hey dog, cut that out. Like we ain't gonna do that right now."
It wasn't like Jameis in the Saints locker room on crutches. So.
Oh my gosh. Well, at that point, once you got a tear, you got a tear, right? Like, what's the big deal? They got to go fix it either way.
That's still one of my favorite videos I've ever seen.
I was talking to somebody today. He is the most quotable. Which shout out to Jameis and Rashad Green.
Yes, yeah.
A lot of 5 jerseys. Some better than others, but a lot of 5 jerseys in the stadium yesterday for Jameis, and then Rashad Green also being inducted into the Hall of Fame. So shout out quickly there. I have to remember to get all the shout outs in before we get done. But